How hard is it to say the final goodbye? Is it a single, sharp moment of pain, or a slow, lingering ache that stretches across days, weeks, even years? We often think of goodbyes in human terms, the last words spoken to a parent, a final hug with a friend. But what about the goodbyes that transcend language, the ones spoken in the silent language of loyalty and unconditional love? This is a story about one such goodbye, a testament to a bond that death itself could not sever. Imagine a quiet hospital room, the air thick with the sterile scent of antiseptic and the soft, rhythmic beeping of machines. In a bed, an old man named John lay frail and still. His life, once a vibrant tapestry of laughter, adventure, and love, was now fading thread by thread. His family had been there, their faces etched with a grief they tried to hide. They had held his hand, shared memories, and whispered their own tearful farewells. But there was one member of his family who wasn't allowed inside, one whose heart was breaking just outside the hospital walls. His name was Leo, a golden retriever with fur the color of honey and eyes that held the wisdom of 1,000 sunsets. For John, Leo wasn't just a pet, he was a confidant, a shadow, a furry, four-legged soulmate. They had spent over a decade together, their lives intertwined in a beautiful, simple rhythm of morning walks, afternoon naps in the sun, and quiet evenings by the fire. Leo had been there through everything: the celebration of a new grandchild, the quiet sorrow of losing a friend, the simple joys of a life well lived. He was John's constant, his furry anchor in the swirling tides of time. Now, that anchor was adrift. When John was admitted to the hospital for the final time, Leo had been left at home. But the bond between them was a physical thing, an invisible leash that stretched across miles. Leo couldn't understand why his best friend had vanished. He whined at the door, paced the house, and refused to eat. Seeing his distress, John's family brought Leo to the hospital, hoping that just being near would soothe his anxious heart. But hospital rules were strict. No pets allowed, so Leo began his vigil. He found a spot on the patch of grass right beneath John's window. And there he stayed. He didn't run, he didn't play. He just lay there, his gaze fixed on the second-floor window, as if his sheer force of will could somehow bring his master back. Rain or shine, day and night, Leo waited. The first day passed, then the second. The hospital staff started to notice the devoted dog. They'd bring him water and food, which he would barely touch. His loyalty was a silent, heartbreaking spectacle. Nurses would look out the window on their breaks, their own eyes welling up as they watched the faithful creature maintain his post. Inside, John was getting weaker. He was barely conscious, drifting in and out of a dreamlike state. In his lucid moments, he would whisper one word, a name that was more of a breath than a sound: Leo. His daughter would lean in close, pat his hand, and tell him, "He's okay, Dad, he's waiting for you." But they all knew time was running out. John's breathing was becoming shallower, the beeps of the heart monitor slower. On the third day of Leo's vigil, a nurse named Sarah couldn't bear it any longer. She had seen the unwavering devotion in the dog's eyes and heard the desperate whispers from the dying man. She went to her supervisor, her voice trembling as she made her case. She spoke of the bond between them, of the cruelty of keeping them apart in these final hours. She argued that sometimes compassion must outweigh policy. After a long, heartfelt discussion, the hospital administration made a rare exception. For John and for Leo, they would bend the rules. Sarah rushed outside. When Leo saw her approaching, he lifted his weary head, a glimmer of hope in his tired eyes. She knelt down, clipped on his leash, and whispered, "Come on, boy. Someone wants to see you." Leo didn't need any more encouragement. He scrambled to his feet, his tail giving a weak but hopeful wag for the first time in days. They walked through the sterile corridors, the click-clack of Leo's nails on the linoleum floor a strange but welcome sound. As they neared John's room, Leo's pace quickened. He could smell him. He could feel him. The door opened, and Leo padded softly inside. The room fell silent, the only sound the soft beep of the monitor. John was asleep, his face pale against the white pillow. Leo approached the bed slowly, cautiously. He rested his heavy head on the edge of the mattress, right next to John's hand, and let out a soft, contented sigh. It was a sound of arrival, of homecoming. At that moment, as if sensing the familiar weight and warmth, John's eyes flickered open. They weren't clear, but they found their focus on the golden head beside him. A faint, peaceful smile touched his lips. His hand, which had been lying limp, moved just slightly, his fingers gently stroking the top of Leo's head. It was a movement that cost him every last bit of his strength. Leo didn't move. He just rested his head there, his warm breath ghosting over John's skin. He closed his eyes, as if to say, "I'm here. It's okay." "You can rest now." The nurses and family members in the room watched through a blur of tears. They were witnessing something sacred, a final, perfect moment of peace. And in that quiet room, with his best friend by his side, John took his last, gentle breath. The steady beep of the heart monitor dissolved into a single, long, unbroken tone. But the peace in the room remained. It was as if Leo had guided his friend on the first step of his final journey. He had waited, he had been patient, and he had fulfilled his duty. He had delivered his final, silent goodbye. This story reminds us that the most profound connections we make in life aren't always with people. They can be with the loyal companions who share our homes and our hearts. The love of an animal is pure, uncomplicated, and absolute. It asks for nothing but gives everything. Leo's vigil wasn't just about a dog waiting for its owner. It was a powerful demonstration that some bonds are so deep, so elemental, they defy our human understanding of life and death. They don't end when a heart stops beating. They live on in the memories we cherish and in the stories we tell. The final goodbye isn't always an end. Sometimes it's a bridge to a love that is eternal. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that celebrates the incredible connections in our lives. We'll see you in the next video.